How's everyone doing today? Audio test. Mac, Mike, Mox, August, Eric, Sora. How's it going? Ugh. Okay. So I need to start off here. Sending out some prizes for the giveaways that just ended over in the Discord. For anyone watching the VOD, I am going to be testing the Nova 1 over on Trible, and I'll be just doing some TFOs with the Typhoon. The Typhoon I already tested on a prior stream. The Typhoon is a very good ship. The console off of it is interesting on EPG builds, especially if you're able to utilize it in a way where it's got a lot of travel time through your opponent. And the trade off of the Typhoon, unfortunately for Torp builds, is extremely weak currently. So hopefully that's something that they can buff up by like a factor of 10. It's that weak. Okay. What sold here? A 37 sold. Okay. Let me go get these badges sent out for the giveaways. I'm not going to get the Nova one on live. I'm going over to Triple for it. To be clear, the Nova one I do not think is worth getting. The pictures that I've seen of the tooltips of it so far show me that it is not worth getting. But I want to at least, give it a couple minutes over on the Triple test server, just to demonstrate, the capabilities or issues with it. Okay, where do I have these badges at? Probably in my account bank. Alright. Veg, how's it going? Congrats on winning some badges here. So I'm just sending out prizes to those of you that entered the giveaways for the non-combat badges over on the build and CasualSAB. Just 5 of you that won, so let me get these sent out. Honest, covered. Veg. Jay, how's it going? Michi? Michi, you have any success with solo ISCs today? Lord Bane? Cat? Intriguing? Documents? Kurt? Okay, so that's Fedge and Don is taken care of. Now let me check the 2 giveaways that were in my Discord. 1 response so far. And I'm just sending out prizes for the giveaways that literally just ended on the Discords from the other day. Go. Dragon. Worry about the rest later. Let's head on over to Trible. I'm gonna grab the Nova 1 over there and take a look at it. Cheops, I stayed up until about 5 because I was watching, I decided to sit down and watch Prodigy, and then I just kept watching. And then I looked over at the time and was like, oh. Yeah. Ethan? I know, Fej. Cheops is here? Whenever Cheops is here, you gotta be very, very concerned. Dora, how's it going? Just checking the market quick here. Need there to be a promo drop. I want to rip open some deltas, but the market, that 20 mil a pack right now, that's a joke. Okay. Go over to Trible. Kyle, how's it going? The 2000. Oh, yeah, yeah. Tomorrow's the big day for the 2000. Very nice. Spencer up at an unreasonable hour. I know. Can't believe it. Kaiser, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Yeah, I got through a good chunk of the first season yesterday. Okay, Nova 1. Again, I'm over on Triple to do this testing. So that's why the inventory looks the way it does. So I need to make a fresh copy of Casual. Veg, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Very much appreciated. Osiris, how's it going? Sean, you have a KDF tune and want to use a bird of prey or escort on it with cannon build. Which one would I suggest as you use the adamant on Fed? It's rough. The bird of prey suck. Like the bird of preys really are not that good in Stowe. If you add the legendary Vorcha, that's cool, but I mean it's a bigger ship, but the legendary Bordescu, I've seen people do CSV with that. It's a bit of a pig to turn though. You're wanting something a bit smaller. It's rough. The KDF side does have it pretty rough. D7, yeah, that's a good point. Did I get one of those mini ships I was talking about? No. Yeah, the hard turn rate's hard. Yeah, I mean, KDF Temporal Warship, that's a good suggestion. I can't show you those because I'm on Triple right this second, but let me pop this back up. Yeah, the issue is, and I've had people come up to me recently and say, "Hey, I'm looking for a good KDF C-store ship," and it's like you look through and it's rough. Like every good Klingon ship is either legendary or it's premium. Waldo, nice, Cyrus. Yeah, I mean, the legendary Burrell sucks. Legendary D7, turn rate on that. Turn rate of 12. I mean, that's pretty decent. I mean, if I was going for a KDF ship to be a daily driver, I personally would go with the Bordescu most likely, but the D7, that'd be sufficient. Yeah, there is the ugly pilot ships, yeah. Pull those up for you. I mean, they don't all look bad. That actually looks sort of cool. But that's, that's just one of the older pilot ships, so it's going to be dual pilot. At least it's 5-2. The legendary Burrell here is a 4-2. Yeah, it's just rough. The KDF side really does have it rough. The Gorn Hunter is technically a Klingon ship, but that's lockbox and that's got that horrible turn or horrible spin mechanic to it. The American Worker Battlecruiser. This is the KDF version of the Gagarin. I mean, it's not bad. Was the turn rate on this? Base turn rate 7.5. Yeah. Any good fleet ones? No, the KDF is just not in a great position outside of legendary and premium. Ethan, thank you for the sub over on Twitch. Very much appreciated. Okay. I'm gonna head back over to the Trible test server. I'm going to go over to a fresh copy of my character. And remember, any faction can fly any ship now, so if you don't have a KDF ship that you're happy with, I mean, you could just fly your adamant on the KDF. Yeah, escorts are just not in a great position right now. Astruck, how's it going? Like the best like escort style ship in the game right now is the Delkina. Then after that, like all the other options are just rough. Okay, I am on Trible, so you're gonna see me do something that looks very stupid. But again, please remember, I am on Trible. That's why there's 72 after my character name here, because this is the 72nd copy of this character for here right now. Anyone use the D4? X Jim. Need to move this down so I can just delete these stacks items better. Help, John. I mean, the D4X is interesting, but it's still not perfect. Not much. Where's the issue is I just cleared my inventory out quite a bit, but as soon as I try to grab something, it's probably going to say I have 50 items in overflow. No? Surprising. I can't open this ship yet until I delete some ships. Find me a ship that has not much on it. There we go. Guru Bomba. That's the name it gave my Nova one. Interesting. So this comes with plasma weapons on it. We'll take a look at the experimental weapon and all that here in a moment once I get up to space. Let me go over to the tailor quick, just see what options are there. Ugly looking ship, yeah. Yeah, it's got the default interior too, as expected. They don't do ship interiors anymore. You can't do the Vesta pattern on it. That's just not an option. Got that one material. Yeah, if you really want the D4X, get it through the Into Darkness Muds bundle. Because for 150 bucks with that Muds bundle, yes, 150 bucks is a ludicrous amount of money for this game. But if I pop live back up here for a moment, with the Into Darkness Muds bundle, if you go for the D4X, the box that you're getting that from also has the Kelvin Constitution and the Talaru. So if you're getting that Muds bundle, the selection that has the D4X is actually 3 different ships. That's why one of the reasons that Muds bundle is so highly desired, the Into Darkness one, is because if you go for that and the Kelvin Heavy Destroyer packs, both of those are actually multiple ships in each of their selections. The Kelvin Heavy Destroyer is the Kelvin and the Kelvin D7 in that selection. The Kelvin Timeline Starships is the Kelvin Connie, the Talaru, and the D4X. And then you can get the Vengeance on account wide unlock or the Vulcan Experimental Scout ship, whichever you prefer. Yeah, I just would not buy a D4X off the exchange, personally. The Talaru's been in that bundle since the Into Darkness bundle came out, so like 2-3 years. Lockville. That's been that way for an incredibly long time. Okay, I'm heading up to space now. We're going to take a look at the Nova 1 accessories. For the render scale of my other game client. Okay, how far into the stream are we? Basically 16 minutes. Really long load time because I'm over on the Trible test server. I'm the only person here, so maps are just really slow to load. Okay, time is 16:22. We're gonna look at the tooltips on the new items, starting off here with the trait. Let me get this with snipping tool. So this is the trait off of the Nova 1. It's called Bold Piloting. Gain damage aura and extra speed from using speed or pilot buffs. So when activating any speed buffing bridge officer ability or any pilot bridge officer ability, you're getting plus 130% flight speed in turn for 30 seconds, and it enables the Locarno maneuver status for 30 seconds, which deals kinetic damage to enemy ships when you graze them while flying. That scales with your current flying speed. Now, what I know about this is that there's apparently like an internal cooldown, according to Fluffle, who has already tested this trait. What Fluffle found is you can't just stack it up and use a bunch of abilities to get more out of it. You can activate it the one time, and then it's got like an internal cooldown preventing it from being reactivated. And the damage it does apparently is not great, especially against like static targets. It just doesn't do much. I'll catch up with chat here in a moment to let me go over the rest of the tooltips. So now let's take a look at the console this thing has. Nova Fleet Recruitment Drive. Passive on this is a plus 69 Starship Shield regen. And the clicky is Nova Fleet Recruitment Drive. This can be used against foes in your forward 135-degree targeting arc. It will target foe, and targeted foe will become an ally for 30 seconds. They'll suffer some kinetic damage also while this is active on them. And while allied, they're also going to gain increased damage output, increased threat gen. If an enemy detects it's the last remaining one in the area, it will automatically strengthen its crew's resolve and cleanse these effects. When used on other players, it will add a random recharge time to the target's bridge officer abilities. Kurt, I think that, between this and the Heroian Predator, the Heroian Predator is a far better pilot ship to go for. That there's basically no performance reasons to go with the Nova 1. The Heroian Predator at least has a trait that in longer duration content is pretty interesting. They did fix the Nova 1, yes. They fixed it so it no longer is bound to you upon acquiring it. There are some of these available on the exchange. Tony, what's the Yellow Vortex spatial weapon? If you're talking about the big tornado in space, that's the console off the Maquis Raider. It's good on EPG builds. Nice, yeah. Plus 69 to the shields there, yeah. Very, very nice. Pepsi, I haven't heard anything. What's the resting? Yeah, let me see what the resting is. Plus 15.2. When I just was sitting here. And plus 69 at max. Or wait, that's, I don't have engines on. It's always interesting to see how the comp engine visuals mess up a ship sometimes. Okay, so with engines on, oh wow, that is massively higher. With me actually having engines on, plus 395.2 Starship Shield regen. Wow, that is a lot of shield regen. I want to know what happens if I put like temp surge on. Active temporal surge. This is a clicky trait that gives you a lot of speed. So again, 395.2 when I hit this. 395.2, so that didn't do anything else. I don't have the Dominion set on this character. But yeah, that is a substantial amount of shield regen skill. Yeah. I mean, for someone doing like a shield tank, that might be interesting. I don't know how valuable that shield regen would actually be, but you know, that's certainly interesting. And the other thing with this console is what the activation time is half a second. Okay, that's what I was curious about next. And it has a 90-second recharge. Wait, 3-second charge, 0.5-second activate. Is that 3-second charge? You don't get to do anything for that 3 seconds? We gotta test it out quick. Hold on. They've been trying to bring shields back for a while, but the issue for them is they're putting like little buffs here and there that end up being on some premium ships, and you know, if that's the only thing of any sort of value on a ship, like the Nova 1 here, who's going to go out and spend that? Because the price of these premium ships, these lockbox ships, I mean, if you're going with the cheapest route to get them, which is to just sell master keys on the exchange, you're spending $100 per ship. And if they're dropping little pieces, you know, here or there throughout a year or two, and each piece costs, you know, 100, 200 bucks, who the hell's going to go through and, you know, collect them all to actually try and make shields, you know, relevant there? Dan, how's it going? Greg? May want weapons? Who needs weapons? Don't need no weapons. We'll put a beam on just to see if my weapons are able to fire. That's literally all these weapons are going to be here for.
The recent
enemy ships warping in near projection station Alpha. We have multiple hull breaches, Guard.
Containment breach. Evacuating all personnel.
Hull is buckling. The cod is dead in space.
Okay, my weapons were still able to fire. So it's confused the foes that were in that little arc, and now they're fighting the other foes. And now that they've seen that they're the only ones there, the confuse ended. Any new info on the Typhoon trait? The Typhoon trait is still underpowered as is. I want to see the special maneuvers this ship has. Like if it has one at all. So the pilot maneuvers aren't really anything new. They look pretty standard. It's a flyable handback.
The enemy approaches projector station Gamma. Meet them in
Barrel roll OP, yeah. I'm gonna use the Nova 1 console here again against the battleships once I can get closer. I slapped 2 random bowel anti-proton beams on just while using the console just to see if they'd fire. I mean, the little confuse it does is certainly interesting. That shield regen shows. It's from the most recent season of Lower Decks. So shield regenerate. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if that is, it looks like it's throttle based. Because right now I see 360. Oh no, it is changing when I turn the ship and going just a smidge slower. But yeah, I mean, it looks like that's a pretty decent buff for shield regen. Just want to be at full throttle to really get the most out of it. I'm gonna confuse some more of these Klingons here. So that's the console off this ship. It will confuse the foes that are in that cone. And let's see, the experimental weapon I haven't even looked at yet, but let's take a look at that. That is such a slow traveling experimental weapon. You guys see how slow that was? Like, look at how slow that is. Will it work against the Borg? Probably.
Hull integrity below 50%.
That's engine power. I'm gonna go back out to New ROM and we'll take a look. Probably cap because it's just impacting the base regen, like your regen skill. I'm on Trible, so getting an ISC probably won't happen. And let's take a look at this thing with engine power. So again, going full throttle here, I see 365 basically. If I turn up my engine power, it is going up. That was normal difficulty level, yeah. I mean, I wasn't testing the ship itself, it was testing the console. But yeah, you can increase your engine power to buff it up a little bit more. If I put on, for instance, like a red matter, just give me a little bit extra power. Let's see what it does. 395.2. Yeah, so 395.2 is the highest I'm seeing here. even with my engine power going back down, so long as I'm like at full throttle. I know it did dip a little bit there. So I mean, you do benefit from having a little bit of extra engine power, but still, like that's a pretty big number for shield regen. I mean, I wouldn't go out and spend a ton on this. You know, that's really just something that might appeal to those of you looking to do like a shield heavy tank build. Enhanced induction coils. I might still have that in my inventory. Let me take a look here. Okay. So I do actually have Alliance Impulse. I do have both. I'll take a look and put this console on a slower ship here in a moment. I just want to look at the number here. I'm going to activate enhanced induction coils and we'll see what happens. Enhanced induction coils. So your engine power isn't going to have the biggest impact. It's just be at full throttle. So you can see my shields over at the left there. Like my shield regen rate is 4,369.1, and you know this is on just this little pilot raider. So before I head over and look at that on a different ship, I do want to just quickly upgrade the experimental weapon this thing comes with, so we can look at it at its highest level. Again, I did that because I'm on the Trible test server, and you can reroll this to 50 damage, which is what I'm going to do. Okay. Let's take a look at this experimental weapon. So we already saw in the patrol I was doing there that it has a very slow travel time. But on top of that, it has a 15-second recharge. So this is an experimental weapon with a 15-second recharge. And it launches a projectile that has a bit of travel time. And after 10 seconds, that projectile will explode, doing some additional damage. So even if this thing ends up doing decent damage, it's not going to be relevant to most people. Because as is, we're having issues with our experimental weapons that have, you know, even just like 8-second recharges where in some cases they're too slow. The targets are dead before they get there. And this is something that has an extremely long travel time. It's too long. Like, it doesn't matter if this thing does good damage. It has slow travel time. It has a long recharge. It needs 10 seconds to actually detonate and do its full damage. What the hell lives for 10, you know, for you know, like the 5 to 10 seconds travel time plus the 10 seconds this thing's going to take to detonate, aside from bosses? 15 seconds. Does it benefit from haste? I mean, most of these experimental, none of them benefit from most of the haste out there, like fleet power. Overpowered, overgunned does benefit some of them, but you know, let's take a look here. So that is Nova Starburst. Fleet power does not impact it. What about OPOG? OPOG probably will impact it. It generally does actually buff up experimental weapons. Just have to hit a cannon firing mode to see. Yeah. So overpowered overgunned off the legendary Defiant does help with the recharge time, but that's still too long. It doesn't, it does not matter what damage this does. If it's that slow of a travel time and it takes 10 seconds to detonate, it is too slow. It is too slow. It doesn't matter how it compares against the other experimental weapons damage wise. The recharge and the travel time are just immediately dead on arrival. Okay, I'm going to swap over to a different ship and just take a look now at the console off the Nova 1 and see what it does on a different ship. So, let me see. The friend ship's a pretty popular tank right now. I don't have mine set up as a tank, but the Rex is a very good ship, yes. Does it trigger complex? That's a good question. But again, with the travel time, it just doesn't matter. Okay, so here you can see my shield regenerate is 224. I'm gonna put that temporal shield on, and the Kittimer engines like suggested before. And with those, my shield regen is 678. Now, when I put the Nova 1 console on, so that's at full throttle. As soon as you're not at full throttle, you know, you're not getting, you know, much shield regen from that, but that is a pretty crazy number. The Typhoon, I recapped the Typhoon at the beginning. The Typhoon is really good. The ship itself is good. The console from it's good on EPG. The trait off of the Typhoon, it needs to be buffed by a lot. It did like 6k DPS out of 1.1 or 1.2 mil torp run. So yeah, the Nova 1 console, that's probably going to be the most interesting part of the ship for most people. Yeah. So it was just show like I just was having a blank there, Ed, and just remembered that's what you guys said to do, and I just copied it over. For EPG, what ships are good? I mean, there's a variety of ships that are good for EPG right now. But if you're looking to do like solo elite stuff, the side carriers are actually pretty good. The Terran Monitor is currently one of the top EPG ships for that playstyle. There's basically two different ways to do. Well, there's more than two. There's a couple different ways to do EPG. The way that's getting a bit of attention right now is with the side carriers. To focus a lot on just as many console clickies as you can, and just having a bunch of uncon abilities on to help you get everything back down fast. The Vern is good. Yeah, the Vern is good. For that type of EPG, that was starting to be beat by ships like the Draenor scout ship. The Edolg, I think, also did end up beating it from Weewo's runs. Dan, it's lockboxes or the exchange. But yeah, for any questions about EPG, I would highly recommend joining the Builds Discord. There's an entire area there regarding EPG. So if EPG is something that you're legitimately wanting to learn about, there's a ton of builds in there. Recently, there's a lot of focus on the side carriers because those are what are setting the records in like solo runs right now. The solo Tularu that I was recently showing off. That's over in there. The Terran monitor from Parrot, which holds the current solo ISC record, that's over there. But for that EPG stuff, definitely join the builds Discord. So yeah, I mean, summary of the Nova 1 so far. The experiment weapon, without even testing its damage, it's just too slow. The console, the clicky on it, you know, that's just going to confuse some foes, which will be cool for a couple seconds. But the main appeal to the console and to the ship is really this console with the shield regen it has. If you're like trying to do some weird niche shield heavy tank build. Yeah, and that's basically what Nick had done with his jelly a while back. But while I am over here, I am gonna grab the experimental weapon off the Nova 1 and at least take it through a patrol. I'll just take the entire Nova 1 through a patrol. So let me swap over to that again and build it out. Some doll, how's it going? Okay, just give me a minute while I build this out. I'm gonna do a pretty standard plasma setup on here just to get this through control really quick. That's not what I selected. Oven Omni. You know that there's no difference between the like Tetron plasma, you know, for like the actual weapon damage. There's not a difference between Tetron, plasma, AP, and so on. It's just down to set pieces and like what traits you can use. Tetron's not that bad. You can do a full rainbow build and it'd be effective. I don't have Tetron stuff on this character though, but I mean, I feel like I need to just do a Tetron or like a rainbow build because people legitimately do keep bringing stuff like that up, thinking that um, Tetron is like legitimately super far behind, and it's not. Like Tetron, Polaron, they're all capable of very effective. Was there a countdown on? Because I just equipped it. When you first equip an engine, it'll often do that 30 seconds before you can actually go in and use it or go to like a full impulse. If I miss a question in chat, guys, you know, feel free to repost it. Nope. No, Mike. Looks like I'm frozen. Had me worried there. Yeah, I'm just getting the ship just quickly set up. Because I was in the friendship there, it has a torp set of traits on, so let me fix this quickly. Enough. Okay, here. Top 7 or top traits for a do build. Tearing Goodbye, UD. Universal. I already said UD, didn't I? Let me just deslot these and go through that. Deslot all the traits and go over like the top 7 do traits right now. Hold on. Okay. Okay, so Tearing Goodbye is absolutely a trait that most builds should have on right now. Like, regardless of Torp, Do, Psi, whatever, that's just a really good trait, up to 15% crit chance. Ruin is good on AoE builds if you're on Beam Overload. Beam Overload sucks for many things. It can still be effective enough to get through content. If you're running it, it's perfectly fine. But for DPS stuff, Beam Overload absolutely sucks, like every other single target ability in the game. So if you're doing Beam Overload, you can't really benefit from Ruin that much. But if you're on a proper AoE build, CSV, Fall, whatever, you can benefit quite a bit from Ruin. That's a good trait to have on for the damage buff. Universal Designs, that's good for the crit chance and severity it has. Your firing mode extender, of course. So I'm going to go CSV, so I'm going to put Withering Barrage on. After that, Ship of the Line's pretty good. Ship of the Line off the Legendary Avenger if you're chaining 2 Immersion Powered Subsystem abilities, which you should be doing. Then that's also pretty good. Emergency Weapon Cycle is good at a budget level. If you're doing over 1.5 to 2 million DPS, you can probably start to look at dropping Emergency Weapon Cycle. But if you're still below 1 million, I would leave Emergency Weapon Cycle on. Cultural Conquest can be good too if you have a bunch of dummy firing modes on. Cultural Conquest is not compatible with like surgical strike setups, reroute reserves. You really want to be in a situation where you can use beam, cannon, and torpedo firing modes on your build to benefit from that trait. And if you're in that position, it does really well. What's that second science console? I have completely blanked out on reading chat. So that's enhanced induction coils off of the one of the low level bird of prey. It's also on the Klingon recruit ship. My other traits are all messed up. Hold on a second. I'm just gonna focus on getting this build sorted out quick, and then I will respond to everyone in chat. It screwed everything up here. Yeah, when people say don't do rainbow, it's saying that new people who need to focus on... Yeah, exactly. If you're a new player, don't do a rainbow setup until you know what you're doing. Once you understand what you're doing, then you can absolutely do that. Yep, that's very, very accurate. People did not like my beam overload comments. Okay. Take a look here at chat. Suga, thank you for the follow. Low delay for the live stream. I'm gonna test it on a plasma build right now. Everyone's good. Jay, Nick will bug me about that later. Sadly, the experimental weapon shows that most of its damage is a pet. Sphinx, that is rough. I'm so sorry to hear. Spencer Space Barbie phaser demo when? I don't know. Still waiting for the Mir warship and muds. Me too. Beam overload sucks. That is my opinion all day, every day. Single target abilities are pain. Temporal tunneling for haste, yeah, that is very good. Budget level, meaning not doing supported runs. I mean, it is still possible to do like 1.5, 2 million in a channel run if you just even have like a good tank in there. It just depends how aggressive you're piloting. But if you're really on your game, you can absolutely 1.5 to 2 in channel runs with an AoE build. Rachel, how's it going? You really have to spend hundreds to get ships like these and get them geared? Yes. Alan, how's it going? Axel? Do I think reroute reserves should work alongside usual firing modes like suppression barrage does? Yeah, I mean, that's what it was originally when they were testing it on Trible before putting it live. It should work alongside other firing modes. It shouldn't be its own thing. Every time you see a beam overload build, you guys remember in Star Trek Beyond, the start where they're going up against that big group of enemies, and Spock is like, we're not ready, or we're not prepared for this sort of engagement. That's pretty much your life as a beam overload user, playing the vast majority of content in this game. Dog is not happy from what I can hear now. I mean, with this thing, at least you do have enough room to put a bit of uncons on it. Not necessarily the best uncons, but you can. Yeah, a beta and a beam overload. There we go. Get the tray set up. I am happy that works for you, Galactic. My comments have upset people. I am sorry. Overload is perfectly fine. I am sorry for being mean about it. Bear with me, I'm just trying to get this all sorted out. I realized all my console cookies were already on the tray down there. This is the worst part of always testing, new ships and all that on stream. It's like I gotta get the tray sorted out, and especially on Trible, everything is just not going to be transferred over fully. I'm not worried. Saying goodbye at 1.5 bill. Yeah, the issue is like there's like all the really nice toys, like to get one of the really high end builds put together. It's expensive. Like you look at any of the high end deeps builds, you're talking about a couple hundred to piece one of those together. Game is expensive. The fact that there's no way to get lockbox ships you've already purchased on account wide unlock is ridiculous. Like, I know muds bundles are a thing, but if I spent 150 bucks getting this Nova 1 on live, and if I end up wanting it for more characters, like it's so stupid that there's not a system for me to go in and be able to just pay to make it an account might unlock. Okay, I'm going into Argala now. My ship should be fine enough. Argala Elite. We'll also get an idea on how the experimental weapon does here. So here we go. All obelisk are 200. Can't believe that. Is it possible to reach the highest level in the game without paying any real money? Yeah, absolutely. You can also do a lot of stuff free to play. I was a free to play player for most of the first couple years that I played, really. And I was able to just grind out lithium and do quite a bit. Did I put complex on? Yes, I did. These are ultimate plasmas.
Ship is under attack.
You have entered an... Looks like our fight got them to notice us. Let's go over and ask if their boss might come out of hiding. Keep concentrating fire on individual ships. Separate them and whittle down their numbers.
We will not go quietly.
You will stand down and surrender to the Vented Guard. Sensors are picking up small habitations in some of the assets, possibly consistent with mold holes.
Oh, I'm gonna fire? That one's too far away. I don't have uncon on the build, I just realized.
Where we want.
Picked up a tight beam transmission on a new frequency. We're jamming that spectrum of their comms now, but it was probably a call for assistance.
Trying to be slower to let the experimental weapon do some stuff.
That's got it. Excellent. We'll send over a pacification party and take the suspect into custody.
Oh, the real time's not hooked up to that. My bad. Okay. So even with me giving the experimental weapon some extra time to go in and potentially do its thing, that entire patrol, the experimental weapon went off a single time where it did damage. If you're using Sig, if you're using the mirror warship, that can be pretty powerful for CSV. Honestly, Cryptic, Deca, whoever, they just got to buff Faw. The issue is the reason people even run Beam Overload is because Faw's in just such a poor state right now. Between the micromanagement required with ETM, the fact that it's got a 20-second cooldown instead of 15 seconds, it's rough. They got to buff that up so people can get off Beam Overload again. They have a good max one hit. I legitimately I don't really pay much attention to the max ones. Dead before it hits, yeah. I mean that's the issue. The issue is that the travel time on the experimental weapon is so slow that everything's
The
dead
K's on
before it can get
We
there
have
and do
the
its thing. Mike, your Delta Flyer hangar pets are just not that good. I don't actually have the Kobayashi Maru Freighter. I missed that event. I just, for fun, I want to do another patrol here. I'm gonna fix the live parser in Oscar. Yeah, if you do an Elite Argala, you can get a ship up to Mastery 5 in one go. So I'm gonna drop Cultural for bold piloting just to give it a shot. Again, per what I've heard, the bold piloting trait does have like an internal lockout. Can't actually like stack up abilities for it. I mean, we can test that right now to actually just here in space. Like, if I activate emergency powered engines, you can see I've got the Locarno maneuver active, and it's got a pretty interesting little effect on the ship here. So this is the effect that you're going to have the entire time the trait is active, even when sitting still. And as for stacking abilities, pilot team doesn't count for it. That's unexpected. Okay, ox to dampeners. Look at that. I've activated abilities. That trait is still on. It's got a cooldown. It's got a cooldown that they're not displaying. Yeah, so it's legitimately just, it's got a cooldown that they are not displaying to you at all. I just, aside from the console this thing has for like a shield, like some niche tank, shield tank build, like I just don't think there's any reason to really bother with this shit. It, is there anything good for non-spec commander inch slot? I mean, you can do like reverse shield polarity for trying the tank. You can do eject warp plasma for an uncon. Emit unstable warp bundle. Emit unstable warp bubble also work. I can't English right now. I've got I need more coffee. The trait is just causing me to stroke out here. Turn a lockout. Yaps. Phosphor, yeah, Lobby items are you mean the giveaway items? Those right now are per character, but they're meant to be account wide. Yeah, Warp Core, I know. Warp Core, the ads on YouTube are so bad it made you come over to Twitch. That's rough. Yeah, the giveaway stuff that should be fixed here soon. Bold piloting. Yeah, bad piloting, yeah, pretty much. Okay. let's try it out in a patrol. Primal Rage. The only lobby item I personally use for my plasma setups is the was it the biomatter, plasmatic biomatter auto defense turret. Just some French vanilla stuff that I got on Amazon. Okay. I'm going to do, let's see here. Just do rescue and search on advanced, and I just want to demonstrate the issue I think the experimental weapon has. Cheops, yes. But aside from that, I don't really use many lobby items. The Boimler trait, I mean, obviously, everyone uses, but you can just buy that with EC off the exchange. The plasmatic auto defense turret from the lobby store is really good on plasma setups, absolutely. Yeah, Cheops, I'm having a day. Yeah, and like Space Explorer is a great gig. Shadow of the Black Mountain. Both of those are really good ground traits that you can get in the lobby store. They're also a bit underrated. Like every high-end ground build pretty much uses them, but they haven't picked up like mainstream appeal yet. For lobby ships, don't burn your lobby on them. If you want lobby ships, just buy them off the exchange. But there's plenty of them that are good. The Vengeance is a really good ship still. But you can buy it off the exchange, so why burn resources on it? Yeah, the trait on this thing is
We did it.
Interesting.
Sensors are...
Lord Bane, you like that coffee? Yeah. Good.
That rift's unstable. We need to hurry, or those ships won't make it.
Klingon vessels are warping into your position.
Yeah, I've been noticing the weapons seem a little bit weird on this so far, but that might just be me on something I don't have on this build that I'd have on live.
Thank you for coming to our aid. The blessings of Luca.
Our systems are coming in.
I mean, if these were like 700 mil on the exchange, I'd probably get one just to screw around with it,
Bad news,
but
I'm afraid. Klingons are
more than
approaching
that,
our...
nah. It's so small I didn't see where my weapons were at, or which way I was pointed. Now let's take a look at the issue with the trait, or the experimental weapon. Yeah. I can't even get the console to activate in time because everything dies too fast. Oh no. I was too close. I thought I was far enough away. our weapons are like invisible at this point. I am using my serial lightning, yes. Yeah, all these little orange things are the Tholian nucleating warp core. It's from an event last year that they need to add into mods sooner rather than later. It's just an extremely powerful warp core.
Let's deal with the stragglers, shall we?
Okay, let's take a look. What did the experimental weapon do in there? It managed to go off once. It did. It managed to go off once and do 216k damage. The experimental weapon, which has a 15-second recharge time and a 10-second duration once it gets there to actually detonate, it turns out is too slow for content in which you kill enemies fast. 216k damage, not DPS, damage. Is that warp core better than the fleet core? Yeah, for an AoE based build especially. So CSV, FAW, DPG. It's basically just an issue that this experimental weapon, you know, they advertised it as being a really slow weapon, and the issue with the content in this game, once you have like a higher end build, is things don't live long enough. And that's very much the case here, where things are dead well before this actually has a chance to do anything. So the experimental weapon off the Nova 1, I don't think is worth it. The Nova 1 itself, I don't think is the best pilot ship you can get. I think if you want a recent pilot ship to play around with, go for the Herodian Predator. That's got accessories that are going to have a bit more impact for you. But the experimental weapon off of the Herodian Predator does also suck a lot, so don't use it. But the trait and the console off the Herodian Predator are better than what the Nova 1 offers. The Nova 1 console, though, does have appeal to those of you wanting to do like a shield tank setup, but that's basically about it. The Tholian nucleating warp core from the event they did last year. If you're on an AoE based build, you kill lots of things, it does a lot for you. The Achilles experimental weapon is technically the best, yes. It is better than the Gorn Hunter one from the numbers I've seen so far. Like, if you're doing an experimental weapon tier list, the Achilles one's up top, S tier. Herodian, or not the Herodian, the Gorn Hunter one, the Plasma Bombardier thing, that's also pretty much S tier. And then after that, like, I don't even know if you do an A tier. You move down to B tier, because that's the gap between those two and everything else. Like, you get then the gold type, the Soliton, Wave Impeller, like those can still do relatively decent, but not anything like the Achilles or the Gorn one. And then after that, like, just with experimental weapons, they've had a lot of them that they put into the game, but the reality is most of them just are absolute garbage. You have like 5 that are good, and then after that, what are you doing? VAQ A tier for Torps. It's okay. We've tested it. It can do okay. Ravager Shriek was fun for AoE, yeah. You getting more kills, Ed. That's what buffs it. Endeavor. Doing good. Doing good. Just wrapping up testing the Nova 1 over on Trible. The summary of it is as expected. It just isn't really worth it. But I'm gonna just put a timestamp here. So Nova 1 summary. I just want to completely recap this again for anyone looking at the VOD. I'm trying to get better about doing this. So, summary of the Nova 1. The ship itself, it's okay, but there's better pilot ships out there. The trade-off of it has an internal lockout that is not shown to us. It's not been revealed, so it doesn't have great uptime. And the amount of damage it's doing, the buffs from it, it just isn't really worth running, in my opinion. The console from this ship has the most appeal because this does scale up quite a bit with your speed, and you can get it to just under plus 400 Starship Shield regen when you are at full throttle. So I can show you that here. With me at full throttle, plus 395.2 Starship Shield regen. For a shield tank setup, this might be an interesting console for you, but you do need to be at max throttle to get that max regen. And the experimental weapon off this thing, it is just so slow. 15-second recharge, and once it arrives, it needs 10 seconds to actually detonate and do its big chunk of damage. It's just too slow for how the game is played right now. So the console's the only thing that might be appealing to people for that passive, and even then, I would not spend over $1 billion for this ship. So that's my final thoughts for the Nova 1. Not really worth the money. Okay. Then yeah, it's a really small ship. Looks like a shuttle. It's smaller than a Defiant. Just very small. Not the best looking. Yeah. Heading over now to, we're gonna do some TFOs next up with the Typhoon. So let me get this timestamp in. 118. Okay, close the Trible down. David or Gibbs, no, there isn't. Valerie, how's it going? Has the Typhoon changed the torque meta? No. The trade-off to Typhoon CW is really underpowered right now. When I tried it on a full torque build the other day, that was doing over 1 million DPS. The trait itself did about 6k. So it's just an incredibly underpowered trait. It doesn't do enough damage. They would have to like 10x it to make it even, competitive against some of the other options out there. So unless they buff that up massively, it just isn't worth using the Typhoon trait. Yeah, let's go over to the Typhoon now. Deku does not approve of this stream. I mean, I think what we've seen from Deku so far is that they're listening to feedback. I mean, look at the changes we're seeing with the lower deck stuff. How quickly they were willing to change stuff. I think the fact that they're responding and buffing things up based on the feedback from the community, I think that's good. The Typhoon as a platform is good. I would not run this as a torque build, to be honest with you guys. You can do it, but it's not going to be that effective. You're going to run into the same issues the Kirk had, the Temporal Light Cruiser, where you can technically do torps on it, but it's just not going to be that great. Yeah, there's been a lot of ship art fixes too recently. Yep, indeed. Let me get Oscar fixed here, and then we'll go into some patrols. The game has improved quite a bit, yeah. Absolutely. Mike? Yeah, I mean, like I said, you can absolutely do torps on the Typhoon if you want. I just... I just would not... It would not be my first recommendation. Yeah, Singo. That's always possible. What is the trait in the second experimental trait slot? That is Cultural Conquest off the World Racer. So I have a dummy Beam Overload and Torp Spread on to help me get some additional stacks from this trait. Typhoon should have the Typhoon, or, well, console should have the Typhoon in, like, November. I need more coffee. Former con member, any of the damage modifier ones, typically. Like Phaser, especially. Why no Lobby wide Phaser cannon? I just didn't feel like it. I upgraded this entire nice set of sensor linked and had to go with those. Chiaps, that's always scary to hear. Is it possible to do a viable EPG build on the Typhoon? I think you could do a console-heavy EPG setup and toss a bunch of uncons on. Could certainly do that. Okay, let's do some content here. What's the view of the trait and console off the Typhoon? The trait sucks. Let me look at that here for you guys that haven't seen it yet. The trait piggyback launch tubes. Chiaps, I can already tell you're clipping. Terrible. This trait, whenever you fire a torpedo, it will launch an additional microcharge that deals some kinetic damage. It's not good. The damage from this is too low to be useful. So the trait for a torpedo build is not great. The console is good for EPG. This console does have a very slow travel time. So you do want to be like point blank when you're using this against a foe. But on an EPG setup, you use this, and if you can get it into a position where it's going to have a lot of travel time through a target, it will do a lot of damage. So it's really interesting. It's certainly not going to be for everyone, and in really fast EPG runs, it's probably going to be too slow. But I do think it is interesting. And I have a spam bot messaging me on Discord. Or... okay. Those are the accessories. The ship itself, you know, it's fine. Yeah, Cheops, I know. I will put the phaser wide arc on for you guys, so you're happy. Terrible. Oh no, I just saved the loadout and it bricked it again. I hate this game sometimes. This system right here. The loadout system and the bugs it has is so damn annoying. I saved loadout not realizing that my bridge officers had all blanked out. Terrible. Terrible warp core. You know what I mean. When your entire build resets right in front of you, you get annoyed. I think they would understand. Not a good experience. I mean, I literally I swapped a like one thing on the build and it reset my my tray. Targeting, there we go. I'll leave the console from this ship on. Okay. Let's head into some content. Okay. Infected the conduit elite? What? Oh, that was a really fast pop.
The situation is grim. All it
Everyone in here is from the stream. You guys queued up really fast. A Borg TFO? I know. We've never seen this before. I wonder how this TFO plays out.
Warning. Ship is under attack.
scanning the nanite transformer. Done.
From this time
Additional data is
forward,
available.
your culture will adapt to service ours.
My weapons want to fire? Jeez. So slow.
Rear shield failing.
The nanite probes can repair the transformers. Stop them.
It's gonna be messy sphere-wise.
Rear shield failing. Left shield failing. Core shield failing. Right shield failing.
resistance is futile.
4 shields failing. Target shields have failed.
Terrible. Thank you all for the run. Gibbs, I have you at
Sensors
624.
confirm that the transwarp conduit has been destroyed.
I don't know where the
However,
net is
our
going.
scans of the starbase are still being disrupted.
The net went
We
the
will
wrong
need
way.
to
A sub 1 mil? I mean, sub 1 mil does feel bad. Could I do this blindfolded on normal? Probably. I mean, just do like a fall setup with just go 3-piece. Yeah, you go right through and mount it all. Yeah, you know, you guys are right. I keep doing the Borg content. We got to move away from Borg. Okay. We got to do something different. I'm going to put my my life in your hands. I've joined the random elite TFO queue. I hate Counterpoint. The issue is people are always saying need to go do this other stuff, and it's just like Counterpoint bores the hell out of me. Gravity Kills, like it's a meme, but I put up a solo Grav Kills video earlier this year. Like I've spent my fair share of time in there. Days of Doom, I mean, just that's just a terrible TFO. The one where you keep going back through with Daniels over and over again, that's just boring as hell. There's so many of these TFOs that are just they bore me. Like so many of these TFOs, like just they're not fun. What'd you guys drag me into? The thing that sucks with Breach,
ship is vulnerable.
new players love this, but I look at it and every time I look at this, it's just pain. Just don't have fun with this TFO. Yeah, Breach is boring. I think there's that's the issue with a lot of the TFOs for me is it's just they're boring. That's why I do the Borg stuff all the time, because at least with the Borg stuff you're working towards something. You know, with the DPS chasing. With this other stuff, I mean
Warning. Ship is under attack. Four shields failing.
is there a spam bot in Twitch? Why don't I see it on my... if there's a spam bot in Twitch, I'll deal with it. First Fortnite video, terrible.
Four shields failing. Target shields have failed.
Oh, the Kofi stream bot? No, that's legitimate. It's something I set up and then never really messed around with more. Yeah, it's legit.
We've detected a weakness.
Remember to hit that. Yeah, I'm live on Twitch and YouTube right now.
Target shields have failed. Four shields failing. Hull integrity below 75%.
There's the net from the console. Look at how slow it is, though. So that's the issue with this. In really fast content, it's gonna be rough. Remember, guys, we gotta save all these ships.
Target shields have failed. Four shields failing.
Yeah, we were too slow. It happens. What's the average for unboxed liberated Borgdolfs? I mean, the unboxed, well, just the boxes themselves are like 80 mil, 80 to 90 per. But the Dolphs, it depends. I mean, some of them, like the fabrication engineer ones, are almost always like under 20 mil. The deflector ones, it depends. Some of them are worth a lot, some are worth not so much. Same for security. I mean, you've got some security ones that are worth over $1 billion, some that are worth less than 20. Just depends on the demand. Yeah, they're all over the place. Yeah, Warp Core, it was a blast. Nice, Jay. Good to hear. Moving to Texas, very nice. Okay. Corfez. Corfez was requested, so let's do a Battle of Corfez. Battle of Corfez Elite Public Queue. We got this. As long as there's some EPG builds, we'll potentially be fine. Sasa, too many. Too many. Too many
Von
hours.
warships have invaded the area around Corfez 4. I will be acting as flag captain for a
If we get the Teray phase, we're immediately failing. Just a heads up.
Warning. Ship is under attack. Rear shields failing.
Sub nuked already. Done.
Right shields failing. 4 shields failing. Hull integrity below 75%. Left shield failing.
We're lagging. Look at that lag. Wonderful servers this game has.
Failed.
Look at that lag at the bottom right. Is that visible right now? It is.
Hull integrity below 75%. Shields have failed. Hull integrity below 25%. Rear shields failing. 4 shields failing. Left shields failing. 4 shields failing. Target's shields have failed. 4 shields failing.
Ogu Sasi. There you go, Mil. Like, that was good enough for you?
Target's shields have failed.
Yes, happy birthday.
Left shield failing.
That means something else in Turkish? Oh no. What did I just say? I just see just a name. I'm gonna go far right.
Warning. Ship
Hopefully we get people going far left. Looks like it.
Target's shields have failed. Target's shields have failed. 4 shields failing. shields have failed.
Dark orbit sounds familiar, but I don't recall that one explicitly.
Target shields have failed. Four shields failing. Four shields failing. Target shields have failed. Right shields failing. Four shields failing.
I'm just trying to focus on this, so if I'm not paying too much attention to chat, I do apologize.
Target shields have failed. Four shields failing.
Yeah, I would love to see a 75% Muds bundle sale. Absolutely. I don't think it'll happen, but I'd love to see it. It's the only way I'd buy some of the bundles I was, formerly considering. They've waited so long that I've given up on some of the plans I had for Muds bundles and narrowed down which ones I would even go out and, really want to pick up if they even did a 50%.
Rear shields failing.
Asmodal, you're on the outside of the map. Yeah, that'll happen if you use a jump console and you're anywhere near the edge. It can happen.
Four shields failing. Target shields have failed.
How's the ship? It's good. It's a very capable platform. Oh, we're done with this phase. Okay. About to get screwed over by that.
Failing. Rear shields failing.
I mean, with how there hasn't been a sale, so far this year, I think if they were going to do another one, like doing it as just a way to get people back into the game after a bit of a content drought would probably be smart. Yeah, I mean, if there's only going to be one sale, one sale a year, then I think that would be the way to go for it. If that's how they want to do it. We're not done here. I thought we were.
Target shields have failed.
You can use both. Supercharged weapons and emergency weapon cycle, they work together.
Four shields failing. Right shield failing. Left shield failing. Rear shields failing. Target shields have failed. Four shields failing. Right shields failing. Hull integrity below 75%.
The Disco Inferno, I think, is worth it. The wormhole one, I don't know. The thing with that is those ships aren't really that impressive now. And I mean, the McKee Raider you can just buy on its own for like 200 mil off the exchange. Like, how many characters do you really need the McKee Raider
Stop
on?
the bot. Establish a break to our defense line.
Left shields failing.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm far behind in chat. I'll try to get caught up here after we get through Corfez.
Warning. Ship is under attack. Left
There's
shields
2
failing.
sub-nukes already.
4 shields failing. Target shields have failed. 4 shields failing. Four shields failing. Right shield failing. Target's shields have failed. 4 shields failing. Left shields failing. Hull
My camera view is
integrity
stuck
below
outside the
50%.
map, that's why it looks like this.
Hull integrity below 75%. Four shields failing. Four shields failing. Rear shields failing. Target's shield has failed. Four shields failing. Rear
Yeah,
shield
there.
right shield failing. Target's shields have failed. Right shield failing. Four shields failing.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have had a hangar bay on the ship. Hangar bays are really valuable right now.
Four shields failing. Rear shields failing. Right shields failing.
Just keep getting sub-nuked and it's screwing me over.
Target's shields have failed.
$65 is the highest level, yeah. Okay, so there's just one random ship somewhere that we need to take out.
We're pushing the VOD.
Is there any point to the Typhoon if you have the Legendary Avenger? The Legendary Avenger is a far superior ship for energy weapon builds, and while the Typhoon technically can do torp stuff, you don't really have the layout on it to
We're
really
pushing the VOD.
fully do that type of setup, so
Warning. Ship is under attack.
I think for the builds that you'd run on the Typhoon, the Legendary Avenger can be done better.
Target's shields have failed. Target's shields have failed. Four shields failing.
Excellent work.
Good job, everyone.
Rear
Okay,
shields
I'm
failing.
super far behind in chat, so let me get caught up here. Yeah, there was a little bit of lag at the start for sure. False and snared. Sorry, how's it going? Yeah, the Gamma recruitment, I think that'll start up in October. Yeah, I mean, the Typhoon, I think, is just a really good free ship. This is a promo tier ship. It is a better version of the Kirk. Like, why would you get the Kirk now when you have this? The only thing the Kirk offers is the visuals. Like, that is pretty much where the Typhoon is it's literally an event ship that is promo tier. Weird flash right there. Yeah, I supercharged weapons, emergency weapon cycle, people run those all the time together, so I've not heard of people saying not to run together. Yeah, 65 is as high as you can go right now, and then yeah, there's spec points afterwards. Yeah, this is a really strong event ship. Yeah, the legendary Galax is still good, yeah. Oof, Jay. Terrible. Yeah, the Kirk, like I've got a Kirk on this character, but like why would I run it now? The thing is the Typhoon is stats wise like a copy of the Kirk, but better. So the Typhoon has completely made the Kirk lose the majority of its value. Some people really like the visuals of the Kirk. Yeah, when you're doing your keybind, SAR, your firing mode should be the first thing on your tray. Nothing should be in front of it. If you put something in front of your firing mode, you are making it more likely to experience a misfire. 22 dual heavy cannons. You get an extra 10% crit D on the DHCs. A misfire is when you go to hit your firing mode and instead of activating, it doesn't activate and then it goes on a 10 to 15 second cooldown, meaning that you have no firing mode for your weapons for the next 10 to 15 seconds and you're in a worse position for a little bit. Yeah, misfires can be rough. And when you're getting into like the further you get into like high-end DPS stuff, the more likely it is that those misfires can just completely ruin the run for you. Do I think they should have made the Calvin timeline Excelsior? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Yeah, Dan, Dan B, the Maelstrom. What can suck with the Maelstrom is your torp spread misfiring, or your Maelstrom not landing before the target dies. Either of those can be rough. Yeah, I mean, for various playstyles, yeah. I am a good player, but there are people that are better than me at certain things in the game. Yes, absolutely. How does the Typhoon compare size-wise to the Audi? Someone pull one up to New ROM. Someone bring an Audi over to New ROM. I'll do a size comparison. Yeah, there's people better at ground than me. For EPG, there's people better with that. There's better with torps. Yeah, I'd say so. Top 10. I think top 10 would be the entire team that I currently run with. Sizer would be in there. You get Hansi, Game Freaks, MB, of course. Chow. The trade-off the Typhoon is not good for torps. It's pretty underpowered. Yeah, here's an Audi for comparison. Thank you. So there's a Lexington next to the Typhoon for size comparison. Cheops here is certainly the most casual. The console off of the Typhoon will be good for EPG in some situations, but it just depends how quick you get through stuff. Yeah, this here is the Kirk. I've got one on this character too. It's a really good looking ship, but when they did the stats for it, they sort of they made it a little bit weak stats wise. Its bridge officer setup not the greatest. The Typhoon is very similar, but it has so basically the difference is the Typhoon has a lieutenant and ensign universal, whereas on the Kirk those are fixed TAC, and then you have the lieutenant commander with command as universal. On the Typhoon, that's just natively a fixed TAC, which is what you had to do on the Kirk anyways. Am I sure this thing isn't a spam bot? I mean, it's literally a bot that I set up, and it's got the moderator thing, so it's fine. It does keep sending that message, yes. Because I set up a thing on Ko-fi. Am I saying that I deliberately set up a spam bot? Yes, I deliberately set up a spam bot just to target you. Warp Core. Ko-fi is like a Patreon alternative. Look at that. We got beautiful sticks right here too. Achilles. With Connie 3, or is that something else? Looks like a Connie 3. And we got a Theseus here. Yeah, that's a Connie 3. All I had to do was actually look at the nacelles. A Theseus, you don't see those that often. I tried to build out a Theseus recently. For left-right runs, I think the Theseus will be really good, but for the like the runs I do, I tried to build it out and I couldn't figure a way to make it work. There we go. We have an J here too. Any 18 plus bots? Terrible. Yeah, I mean, I've got a Theseus, I've got a Delkina. I find the Delkina just, for me, I prefer the Romulan ship, but also just build-wise, I find for the way that I play, the Delkina works better. The Theseus, though, is still a very strong ship. If the Theseus had Intel secondary, that would be so much better. What sucks right now for like the really high end min max like energy weapon stuff, if a ship doesn't have intel on it for us to run override subsystem safeties, it's immediately dead. That's what sucks with the current meta for like high end deep stuff. If it doesn't have OSS, ain't worth running. Are the advanced phasers still running with these new stat plus types out? Yeah. The advanced phasers have a higher proc chance, so they actually do something. Another month's bundle? Yeah, I think... I mean, I'd love to get the Delkina plus the sarcophagus from that, and then probably like 50 keys, but I don't know if I'll do that now unless they did like a 75 sale. Yeah, the Suliban cell shit, or the Suliban Silic is really good. That is like every high-end support, every high-end tank, even our side nuke builds are on the Silic right now. Like you go into a high-end run, the entire team is on them. Like I had this thumbnail prepped a while back, but that pretty much describes like how the high-end deeps runs are done. Is you got your DPS build, and then you have 4 Suliban Silics in there. That's pretty much high-end runs right now. Donnie Flight Deck Carrier, I mean, for your average player, the Donnie's going to be better. The Suliban Silic is specifically if you're doing really high-end stuff. And there was just a really good breakdown about this over on Still Builds recently. You know, how many people are actually engaged with those higher DPS levels. And, you know, really, the way that I'd say, you know, looking at this is, if you fall into these bottom 2 lines here, then you probably care about having the Suliban Silic, you know, unlocked. But if you're at any of the lines above that, doesn't really matter. You know, the Suliban Silic, the really high-end supported stuff, that doesn't come into play until you're really pushing the DPS numbers, and we've got the stats to show that that's not really that many people. Typhoon is straight for the extra bet, yeah. Ignoring viability of ships at the high end, do I have a ship that I find to be the most fun to fly? The boring answer would normally be the Delkina. You know, that just happens to also be one of the top DPS ships in the game. But I used to love flying the Scimitar. I don't find myself flying the Scimitar much anymore because the Scimitar just hasn't aged very well. Even the legendary variant, it just really is not as competitive as you'd hope it would be. Jay, that would pretty much be just, you know, full solo focused builds. Because I mean, you look at the data again, I'll pull that back up, but EPH in that thread had a really good point. You know, when you're looking at the data here, you know, what this means is when you're looking at the average player performance, you know, looking at the stats, on average, only 2 out of the 5 people in your random elite TFO are actually going to have builds that are able to be ready to do, you know, carry their weight in that content. So if you're going into random elites, you need to be prepared for, on average, there to be 3 people in your team who are not doing the damage numbers they need to be doing to be in that content. So you do need to pick that up for them. But you also need to be prepared for you to be the only person in there actually doing the numbers needed for that content. So yeah, it's hard, and especially like free to play, like those types of builds get really expensive. Baron, thank you for the raid. Much appreciated. Hope you had a good stream. I know you're memeing Stanky Boy, but I would say in general, do not focus on max one hit numbers. That's a very common mistake. Focus on the averages, not the outliers. Can I link that? Yeah. Running story missions on Elite? My condolences. Made a torp build with the Typhoon? What don't I like about the Typhoon? I wish it had a hangar bay. That's number one, of course. I think it's a good ship. The Typhoon, I think, is good. The only thing I'm not a fan of is the way the bridge officer layout is set up is in a way that if you're trying to do like CF3 and you're trying to do a torp build on this, you don't quite have enough room for it. I know some people have said, well, if the command would have been on the Psy, that would resolve that issue, and it would have, but, you know, having the Psy with the grav well, that is still handy. I don't know. I think overall, I think for most people, I understand why most would rather have that command seat on the Psy instead. What are the large battery booster on the DPS runs? So on the, I'm going to just be using energy amplifiers for myself on the DPS runs, but I'll have a teammate hitting a team Oxbat one of the team dual batteries here. So like engines and Ox, typically, or weapons and auxiliary, like either of those. Have a teammate hit those, and then that's a power buff that goes to the entire team. Yeah, Paul, it can be hard. Primal Rage, no. Your pets are not going to benefit from that disruptor modifier. Yeah, Cheops will hit it if he remembers. Yes, thank you, Cheops. There's a request here for me to go into... What was it? Solo Starbase 234 Elite. I can do that. I want to swap over to the Talaru and try that. That sounds fun. That'll be a real quick test, I imagine. This Talaru build is what I've been using to do some solo stuff recently, including what I think might be is it the first time someone's done a solo Kittimer Elite? So I used this recently for that, and I posted that video the other day in the Discord. I'm going to use this to do that Starbase 234 quick. Infamy, all the Universal consoles, all of them. Primal Rage, exactly. Your pets do not care what damage buffs you have on the ship. They are a separate thing. I was on new ROM. So console-wise, I am trying out the new Typhoon console on this. I then have Cutting Tractor Beam, the Gemini device off the Premonition, DPRM, Tachyon Net Drones, the Vovin console, Backstep, Dragon's Blood, Agony, Bioelectrical off the Connie 3, Portal of the Damned, Proton Eruptor module off the Klingon Dyson ship that we just recently got. It's actually like a crazy good console for EPG. And then Genesis Seed. When I put this together, I didn't have the Macurator. I do have it now, I just haven't changed the build. Did I change the difficulty? I hope I did. No! I should be able to leave and go right back in, though, I hope. I wish these patrols didn't have a cooldown. Hopefully, yeah, I should be fine. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've always been into Star Trek. Okay, I'm gonna just skip past all these guys and go right towards the starbase here. I shouldn't have engaged them until I was fully ready. I'm on wrong specs too. Rip. I gotta clean up these other ships. I should have just done these first. There's the other one. I'm a little slow because I should have taken these small ships out first. I think all that sodium from last night is interfering with your neuron activations. Yes, I think so. Yeah, I've always been a Star Trek fan. I wanted to play this game, you know, since I first heard about it. I didn't have a computer at the time when it first launched to play it, but shortly after it went free to play, I did have a computer and started playing. DS9. DS9 is definitely my favorite for what it does for just like how it shows the Federation under like a war footing, the changes they had to go through. I'm getting a lot of messages. Xerxes needs to be an auto mod. Terrible. Yeah, so that was a bit slow. Starbase 234. I mean, the starbase itself melted, but the other ships took me a little bit to clean up. Lower decks is great. Absolutely. Lower decks, yeah. Have I tried to play Star Trek Fleet Command yet? No. Michi, congrats. Michi just took the top of the solo infected elite tables with a 2-minute run at 1.67 million DPS. Michi, congrats. That only... How many attempts was that? How much suffering? I have been watching Prodigy. I am about 15 episodes into Prodigy right now. Michi, congrats. I know how much of a struggle that can be, but I am glad to see you powered through and you were able to get it. Oh, is there no timer on Starbase 234? Can I go right back in? No, there is. Okay. Yeah, Terran Goodbye is absolutely worth it. Yeah, Terran Goodbye is great. Cheops, I am definitely not firing on all cylinders today. I do feel like either the food got to me or I just didn't get enough sleep. Let's take a look at the Oscar tables. Again, congrats, Michi. Solo Infected Elite. Have you not uploaded it yet? Or is it showing up under any? The any is your solo ISA. It has to be approved, probably. I thought those were taken off. Let me pull it up. What was the total damage there? No, I don't see anything not being visible. Had you uploaded it, Michi? Not the issue? Okay, okay. No new record. PC should have the final event in November, console in January. Crystalline Catastrophe. I mean, Crystalline Catastrophe is not really a challenge. It's basically just fly in range. But yeah, let me swap back over to the Typhoon and let's do that. And the sales are over now, right? Yeah. A reminder, if you happen to play through the Epic Game Store, or if you're one of the lucky few people to have an Epic linked account, there is still a Zen sale going on through Epic for the next couple of days. Up until tomorrow or Monday. So, you know, if you're looking to stock up on Zen, it'll probably be a while till we get another Zen sale. Probably another 2 months. And they should do another one at Black Friday and around Christmas. And yeah, if you do happen to buy through Epic, make sure to use code CasualSAB at checkout. That helps me afford some of the Zen that I pick up. I did restock myself with the sale, so I am prepared for whatever comes out the rest of the year. Yeah, use code CasualSAB at checkout. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, you guys are requesting Crystalline Catastrophe Advanced. Here we go. Public queue. I know I've had the merch request quite a few times. I need to figure that out. Yeah, and for anyone on Twitch confused as to who I'm talking to, I am live on both Twitch and YouTube at the same time, so you should see the chat from both at the bottom left there. But right now we're at 37 on Twitch and 181 on YouTube, so see me responding to a ton of people that you don't see. I'm not crazy. At least not in that way. It's just got the multi-stream going on. I did queue for Crystalline. It did pop. It's just taking its time. From both, I am a bit crazy, and I feel like I said I'm not firing on all cylinders today. I ate a bit too much last night, and I need to change instances in order to get into this Crystalline. Look at the console off the Typhoon there, how big it's spread. Oh, that's gonna wreck me. I evaded it somehow. I don't have any deuterium on my build. That's gonna hurt. Okay, there we go. Terrible J. I'm doing what the people requested. They wanted me to do that. Jay, I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. It's a good ship. It is. The Typhoon is a good ship. I've only done CSV with it so far. I need to just go in and like get a beam overload setup done on it because that's what people want. Can we get some more gambling, please? I mean, sure. I can do that. When I try to use code casual, so CasualSAB, the sale won't go through. Any ideas why? You know, I've heard from a few people with the with Epic in the past week or so where they've been having issues getting their order to go through with Epic. I did last night with no issue, but I've definitely heard that from a few. I did it, but you know, for me, I always use like a one time or like you know one of the privacy cards where it's only they'll give you the numbers for just the one order. So I just went through and did that instead of just. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I just do that for most online purchases. Is I always use one of like what's the name? Like this here. Yeah, services or like this with privacy where you've got your card hooked up to it and then they'll create like a one times card for whatever you're buying from, so it's not giving that store your actual card information. You don't have to do that, but I do that quite often. But yeah, Martin, I have received the percentage from you and anyone else that used that code recently, which I am very grateful for. You guys want some gambling, huh? Gamble, gamble. On a different character, though. People always want it. People always want to see the gambling. Last gen, no. But the Borg, absolutely.
This could be your day.
Yeah. Oh, what are these? Pulse phaser. I need to upgrade those. Okay. Which lockbox do you guys want me to open? Infinity, Borg, or Safe Galaxy? Or just do a split? Split, Borg, all, split, Infinity. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of split, so let's do split. That was a really bad draw, to be honest. Not even a single, I got a single Watcher. I didn't get any Borg, liberated Doffs. That was a really bad draw. It happens. The Borg lockboxes you're opening entirely for the Borg Survivor Doff packs to get Doffs like 27 and so on. There is also adaptive offense in there, which is, a really popular space trait. Need more Watcher buffs on the market. I agree. I think I'd like to see the Watcher prices go up just a smidge, but I would like to see more Watchers on the market also. But I would like to see Watchers go up just a little bit first. If we can get Watchers to 30, 35 mil per, I'd be very happy with that. I say that as I've got 350 of the damn things in my bank right now. That's pretty much my, like, going into 25. That's going to be one of my big EC assets for a little bit is Watchers. 11 a.m. Yeah, I'll probably just be waking up around then. Yeah. Um, People often ask, how do I get the ships I get in the game? I play the market. Part of playing the market is also stocking up on things. When you see that there's something that might potentially be good, stock up on them. I stocked up on a couple Intel handlers. I stocked up on a couple of whole lot of X's because these are traits that are, pretty good, but they're still a little bit cheaper because they're a bit newer and people haven't recognized the full value of them yet. But like stuff like that, like just stock up on it early. Like Intel handler, I went through and I cleared out all of them that were under 10 mil recently. I would go and pick them up. Less chat, more gambling. Wow. Someone bought that. Someone bought that. I did have the EC on that character anyways. I haven't sold any Watchers in a while. Yeah, no problem. Thank you for stopping by. Go get some sleep. Combat Badgie is still pretty expensive. And now that the Lobby sale's over, and I'm sorry I didn't get a video out, going over that stuff before the end of the Lobby sale. I just been dealing with a little bit of a migraine this week, on and off, and I end up just doing some really long streams instead, which I know wasn't really convenient for people to sit through. Yeah, the Watchers are the ones that turn into a cat. That Intel Handlers, like, it's a trait that gives you a 4% crit chance. Badgie's at 250 right now. That's too cheap, to be honest. People shouldn't sell it for that low. Given the drop rate, I think 3 to 4 is where it's going to settle. Anything lower just is ridiculous. Yes, Cheops, I did see that. Yeah, Warp Core, it's a 1 in 15 drop rate. Seeing I have messages on Discord. Yeah, again, Ichi, that's a hell of a number. We need to get some other solo tables. Solo Kittimer, I think that's a fun challenge. Solo Cure. Now that we know that the power creep's there to do those solo, I think those are fun challenges. Okay. What are we doing next here? Badgie is from Lower Decks. It's a character that, it's a psychopathic hologram. There's non-combat and combat pet variants. The combat one runs around the map and stabs. Literally, it pulls out a kitchen knife and just starts stabbing enemies. Solo Fez Elite's already been done. That was done years ago. You just have to get the right waves. There's these non-combat ones, which, if you start running while they're active, I mean, just look at that run. Little psychopath. Okay, so there's 3 variants there for that. So you got Guji, Logic, and the normal one. Not a psycho, just misunderstood. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you're tired, head to bed. Get some sleep. Thank you for stopping by. He just wants to teach us a lesson? Yeah, exactly. Infected is back up. Infected is a very scary queue. Tell you guys what. I'm going to put a different build on this. I'm going to see what I have, and maybe I'll do something different. Something different here for this. Let's see here. What do I want to put on? Let's do E2. Fatal boat. E2's fine console-wise. Valdor console won't do much because I'm target. Cursive Shearing 3? Hell yeah, let's get that on there. Some of you see what's going on right now and you're excited. Sick. Another trait that is a bit... It doesn't get enough attention for beam builds is Symbiotic Ice. And no, I don't have any of these on the market. I'm just saying it to talk about it. Symbiotic Ice for beam builds, it takes 6% of your beam damage and gives it to you as a, takes that 6% and does that as an additional bit of cold damage. So, like, that's just free damage on a beam build. I'm surprised more people don't run it. What do I want to drop here? I'll just drop Fragment for now. The thing is every time I say stuff like that, someone thinks I'm manipulating the damn market. I'm gonna leave Sure Shot on. I mean, I could do preferential targeting. I've got the CSV on, so you know what? I'll just do that so it's a permanent buff. Ruin, Ruin's not actually going to do that much, so I'm just going to drop Ruin for Sure Shot. Ruin on a beam overload setup just can feel rough. Sure Shot is from the Herogen Predator. It got buffed after release, so it has 20% uptime instead of 10%. So that's giving you some nice buffs while it's active. Symbiotic Ice is a lockbox trait, so it's like 30 mil on the exchange. CSV level 1 is for preferential targeting, and also for cultural conquest. I don't think Sure Shot's a must-have, especially for higher-end stuff. It will go off as soon as you go into Red Alert. So for really high-end stuff, that does not mesh well. But for longer duration stuff, it's fine. Martin, thanks for stopping by, man. Actually, instead of Sure Shot, I think some more haste on this would be good, especially in the pug environments. Let's do temporal tunneling instead. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to drop the chemo site. I don't have a torpedo on, so it wasn't going to do much anyways. And I'm going to run. I'm going to put Torp Spread there where that was, and I'm going to do Tractor Beam Catapult, which is really good with that. But Entropic, what other abilities trigger that? I don't remember. The wiki's got a full list of everything that works with it. Yeah, the Herogen Predator is lockbox. I don't kick. I've heard of it, but I don't think it's needed. Okay, so I don't actually need to do Tractor Beam Catapult because I've got all the temporal stuff on, so that should be fine. I'm gonna go back to site then. Yeah, Fleet Power can be, you have to target the other player to apply it to them. For the Torp Spreads, I usually will control those manually, but you could put them all on spam bar if you really wanted. Okay. We're just going to roll in with this. This is just a thrown together beam overload setup. Let me turn the parser back on. And let's see how it goes. 10 kilometers. You have to be within 10 kilometers, and you have to target the player to apply fleet power to them. Okay. Public queue infected the conduit elite. Let's see what beam overload can do. You guys were already in the queue waiting. Yeah. I have seen some of the people that stream on Kick, and I just don't know if I'd want to necessarily be associated with all that. I'm gonna sandbag just to make beam overload look bad. Shh.
The situation is grim. All attempts to hail the starbase have failed. We must assume the...
Do I own a private house? There's no private houses. This game doesn't work like that. Are terrible.
Warning, ship is under attack.
Your defensive capabilities are unable to withstand us.
Additional
Lower
data
your
is
shields and await assimilation.
Target shield has failed. Lower shield failing. Rear shield failing. Right shield failing. Left shield failing.
Go slow.
The nanite drones can repair the transformers. Stop them!
Rear shield failing.
Oh, I just messed up there. I'm not gonna flank it.
We will add your technological and biological distinctiveness to our own.
Rear shield failing. Right shield failing. Fore shield failing. Rear shield failing. Right shield failing. Left shield failing. Target shield has failed. Fore shield failing.
Your defensive capabilities are unable to withstand us. Lower your shields and await assimilation.
No. See, this issue with beam overloads. There's always going to be something loose because you just don't have any AoE. Your teammates have to clean it up for you. And if they don't have AoE themselves, you're just in trouble.
Sensors confirm that the transwarp conduit has been destroyed. However, our scans of the starbase are still being disrupted. We will need to send an away team there to look for survivors.
Just wait assimilation, terrible. Just beam over. So symbiotic ice is only for beams. Only for beams. So beam overload or fire at will, or if you're doing surgical strikes with beams, reroute, you know, anything where you're using beams and predominantly beams. Okay, so let's take a look here. Phaser beam overload. 209 up top. My agony redistributor did 115k basically. Resident shock 80k. KCB 59. Phaser dual beam bank. At one point they got fire at will. Yeah. I mean, you can get beam overload up to a higher number, you know, stack up a couple fleet powers on the DPS player, and you can certainly get it up higher, but it's just always that issue of it's single target, so there's a lot of cleanup needed. But there's your beam overload that you guys were wanting to see on this. I need to drop my Seal of Lightning. It didn't really do too much there. The Disco 3-piece Mycelial Lightning is predominantly good if you're getting through stuff very, very fast. But then I'd have to run a torpedo. I don't even have the Lurker console, and I probably should if I'm running the dual beam bank. I don't have any ground keybind set up, and every time I play ground, I just make myself look bad. I mean, but it's a capable ship. You know, the amount of uncons you can get on it is pretty good. You can do energy weapons on it pretty effectively. Terrible, Jay. Do phaser fire at will. Okay. Get dark matter. Let's do fire at will. Star, good night. Yeah, in ISC runs, absolutely, Agony is still worth using. If you're the first person to get it down, especially on the start, you're going to have a much stronger start, and that's going to carry through the rest of the run. If you use it on the side, you're going to make sure that side's clean. Oh. Mike, good night. Sorry, I missed that message. This is going to be a DPS fall setup, so it's not going to have any survivability. Let's get ETM on. Twine Tactical Matrices, and what else do I want to do here? I'm just debating. Supercharged weapons, I guess. Be fine. Right. Just go with that. Beam fire at will. The rapid fire is there just as a way for me to keep cultural up. Okay, I'm going to save this loadout as fall. Well, I'm not actually using rapid fire as a firing mode for any of my weapons. It's just there as a proc for cultural conquest, so I'm not as worried about it. My main firing mode is beam fire at will. So that's there where it needs to be. I'm gonna do cure found elite public queue. That immediately popped, which is always a very scary thing. Huzzah, how's it going? Yeah, I just did supercharged. That's Is Plasma still OP? Plasma is the top option for DPS in Elite. I am just using phasers right now because that is what the people want. The people want the phasers.
Warning, ship is under attack.
Look at that lag right there. What the hell? That's always a great sign.
4 shields failing. Rear shield failing. Right shield failing. Target shield has failed. 4 shields failing.
From this time forward, your culture will adapt to service ours.
Left shield failing. 4 shields failing.
Servers are not having a good time in here right now.
Shields failing. Right shield failing.
I don't know how clearly that's coming through for everyone, but servers, seen better times right. This is laggy. Still something alive? Yep.
Target shield has failed.
I'm using sensor-linked phaser dual beam banks right now.
Disarm your weapons. You will escort us to your own world, where we will begin assimilating your culture and technology.
Look at this server, like the rubber band on the neckcraft at the bottom right. Triz just opened his inventory. Yeah, pretty much. You can see like my ship jump around at a few points there. See that little hitch? Do I have the... Yeah, I mean, I have that ship. But typically when you encounter a console like that, it's under the hood, it's locked to that ship. Yeah, I think you could do something with the Mata. I don't think the Mata Raptor's that great in the current state, but if you put the Gorn stuff on it, I think it's capable enough that you could make it work. Resonant Shock came up on top. Nothing really surprising here. But, you know, that's a good question, Chris. I'm going to swap to a different character where I have more ship slots, and we're going to take a look at that right now. Nicholas, how's it going, man? Nicholas, I'm going to send you a message on Discord. Please take a look at that and respond when you're able. You've got the Triz Boomer emote? Nice. Right now, I'm using a Fire at Will setup on it. I was using a Beam Overload setup before. Oh, no. Terrible, Nick. I don't even have a shuttle. Yeah, that's wonderful, Nick. Wake up. Solo Fez in a shuttle? That ain't gonna happen. What was the Omni in the middle? It was a sensor linked. Okay, so the question is, can I use the Paladin's console on the Typhoon? Let's take a look here. So I've got the Typhoon, and now I need to grab the Paladin from the store. Paladin. I got both of them here. Let's take a look. Can you use the console off the Paladin on the Typhoon? Here is the console off of Paladin. And where's the Typhoon? The answer is no. The class requirements are not met. Just a very common thing with a game where even though it says it's a temporal battlecruiser, under the hood, they don't actually have it classified that way. There's the answer for that. It is not compatible. There's a lot of consoles that need to be unlocked. Nicholas. Ground melee build next? No. No. That one ain't gonna happen. Sorry, you do whatever you want. I mean, there you can post it to the builds Discord. There's an energy, like a beam area there, and you know, people post beam overload builds all the time. The reaction is fine. I really am tired. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it for now. We've been going for 3 hours. I feel like I need another 12 hours of sleep. I cannot string a complete sentence together, it feels like, at some point so far in this stream. Yeah, I just out of it today. Yeah, so thank you to everyone for stopping by. You know, I hope you enjoyed the the casual content with a couple different builds on the Typhoon. Sheops, of course, she did. I had a concept of a stream, but I just couldn't pull it through. You happy, Cheops? Mike, I was playing with the stuff on stream Thursday. Okay. Thank you all for tuning in. On the Twitch side, who do we have? I don't recognize anybody. I need to step away, so I'm just going to end it here. There's a bunch of people streaming on Twitch, so go check out the streams if you're watching on the Twitch side. For the YouTube side, I will see you guys around time in the next couple of days. Video soon, hopefully. Jay, thank you for the casual membership. Much appreciated. And Fej, again, thank you for the gifted earlier in the stream. And on Twitch, Ethan, thank you for the Prime sub over there. And Baron, thank you for the raid earlier. Okay, yeah. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you guys around.